Angle in the first. Watch out.
Look at this.
Upton pops it up. Left side, Elvis Andrus is backpedaling. He is under it. He puts it away. The Texas Rangers have won a postseason series.
The Texas Rangers are American League champions. One swing. It's tied! Garcia walks into the message score. He's at the wall, and the legend goes! It's Texas Rangers win the World Series!
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you after a defeat this morning for me. My goodness, game started at 9:10 a.m. out here in Vegas. Morning baseball. I usually enjoy it, but man, today was a little slow moving. Not a lot to post about today. 2 hits. Wyatt Langford, Alejandro Osuna with the only 2 hits of the ball game. Scoring, obviously, was Osuna on that Wyatt Langford double. That was it. Rangers suffer a defeat at the hands of the Rays, 3-2 ball game, and a series loss after Texas wins the first game on Tuesday night, man. You win that first game, it's always at least putting you at an advantage. Rays take the final 2, and now we head to Houston. Get on a flight, head to Houston. Silver boot on the line. Rangers have just about zero margin for error if they want the silver boot. But I think they are probably focused on some bigger hardware. I think they are concerned about that first place in the division, making the playoffs, winning another championship. But maybe I'm sounding crazy bringing those things up after a game like today. But the Rangers, look, they have some issues that they need to address before the trade deadline. They do. And they started last night with Silseth and acquiring him. Ohapi, obviously, another piece in that, although he goes to AAA. We'll continue to talk about the trade and go through that as much as we can. We're going to be taking your comments and questions along the way as well. So please make sure that you fire those off. I'll try to get to everything I can of substance. If I miss your comment, please copy and paste. Don't ever take it personally. It's never me ducking something or, doing it on purpose. It is definitely just me spacing out and obviously, honestly, going through so much different stuff on so many different pages at once. So forgive me, copy and paste. You know the drill. Here at Right on Rangers, we cover everything sports. We put a big emphasis, though, on the Rangers during the MLB season. It's called Right on Rangers for a reason, but we do cover other teams in the DFW area, the Mavs, the Cowboys. We also cover the Texas Longhorns for college football. And so, look, I thank you so much for choosing Right on Rangers for your Texas Rangers content, and I hope that you guys will enjoy the show today. We will definitely be previewing the Astros series as well. That's going to be a big part of the back half of our show. We'll also talk about next week and what might be waiting with the trade deadline and who the Rangers will be playing after the Stros also. Let's keep rolling. Today, the Rangers definitely, I think, made a conscious decision. Some of you guys are talking about it already. The Rangers very clearly decided that, this game was not as important as the games this weekend. And I think, look, on the surface level, that makes sense. The games this weekend clearly are going to affect your position in the division a lot. Whether you are stacking a little bit of ground in between you and the Astros or potentially losing ground. Nobody wants to talk about that, so we're not going to. The Rangers clearly made a decision that this weekend was more important than today's game. And I will say this, it is a common frustration of mine, and it's because of how I am as a fan, passionate, diehard. I just don't love the idea of punting games ever. And today's game felt a bit like a punt with Evo not starting. I understand lining up the series in Houston with Eovaldi and DeGrom. I like that. Don't like the idea, though, of you've got a game here today on Thursday on the road, a winnable game against a really good opponent, and you decide, nah, nah, I'm good. Going to go ahead and coach for tomorrow rather than trying to win a game today. I just did not love that. And I don't love it. Look, Jacob Latz warming up today, Skip said that he would have gone in had it been a one-run game. Had the Rangers have scored, Latz would have gone into the game and pitched 2 innings. So Latz was prepared to pitch 2 innings today. That, to me, is just really curious because you have seen Latz pitch in very similar scenarios. Jacob Latz pitched against the Rockies in the exact same situation. It was the 8th inning. I think it was the final game of the series against the Rockies. It was 1-1. We were about to lose the series to the Rockies. After some late inning heroics, we were able to pull it off. But Jacob Latz pitched the 8th inning in a tie game against the Rockies. And he also pitched the 9th inning after the Rangers took the lead. I do think that Latz not going into the game today is a bit of a vote of no confidence in the offense. How do you not see it that way? How do you not see Latz not going in the game today as a vote of no confidence from Skip? I mean, you're going to do it against the Rockies. You're going to pitch him in the same exact situation against the Rocks, and you're not going to put him in here in this game against the Rays. Arguably a bigger game, a more important game. Here's the thing that I just want to make really clear in terms of how I feel about Skip's decision and just this whole idea of this weekend being more important. All these games are important right now. All of these games are important. This isn't a game in April, man. This isn't, hey, we've got 145 games left to play. Come on, baby. This isn't a game in April. The Rangers have less than 60 games left. It's going to go like that. I just don't love the idea of punting any games at this point. And look, these games, arguably right before the trade deadline, are most important. I don't like the idea of any of these games being overlooked for a matchup that's going on tomorrow, figuratively speaking, and literally in this case. Vote of no confidence, I think, from Skip in the offense, the fact that Latz doesn't go in. If you feel confident about your offense, I think it would have been a no-brainer to use Latzy in that situation. You think your offense can scratch across a run in the top half of the inning? I think it's a no-brainer. But Skip, not really thinking that is the case. Obviously, no Josh Young today. That does play a role. I do think the other comment I want to make about the whole 162 debate, right? Because a lot of people say, hey, it's just one game. Austin, it's one game. Come on. Again, let me go back to it's really not. There's less than 60 games left. This is right before the trade deadline. Really important time of the year. Absolutely. I mean, look, every game is important right now. Every game matters right now. There's no games to just give away. There really isn't. I believe that. And I know that Skip has to manage for the Astros series, but they've got a day off coming up in about 4 days. It's not like there's no end in sight here. It's not like you got 15 games remaining before your next off day. It's just not the case. I 100%, though, just think we need to think about this whole Josh Young injury absence 100% eyes wide open. If your offense is this reliant on Josh Young, is that good? I know it's such a simple question, but a lot of people I know are pointing, hey, we didn't have Young this week. If your offense is this reliant on Josh Young, who obviously is hitting really well this year, but it's not like Josh is providing a ton of pop. He's not hitting homers. He is hitting some doubles, hitting the ball in the gaps. He's a singles hitter primarily. He's a guy that obviously is putting the ball in play a lot. He's had a great season at the plate. There's no denying that he's important. But if your offense is this reliant on Josh that you literally fall apart when he's not in the lineup, like, that should tell you there's an issue. That should tell you that you might need to consider improving the team. So when people come back at me with, we don't need a bat, we don't need any more offense, just focus on the pitching. I'm like, really? This offense literally falls apart without Josh Young in it. Like, I think this team 1,000% needs to improve the offense. And I've talked about this a couple different times. I talked about it yesterday. I mean, it is a very real scare for me. The Rangers make it to October, and, Joc Pederson and Evan Carter are non-factors. I mean, look, you go up against the Red Sox, they're going to throw Suarez, they're going to throw Crochet, and Joc Pederson and Evan Carter are going to be on the bench. And I know some people have said to me, why aren't they playing every day? Play Joc every day. Play Evan Carter every day. Do we think that that's going to go well? We think that that's going to go well, playing Joc and playing Evan Carter against lefties? I don't. I don't at all. We definitely need a bat. No hate for Young, though. No hate for Young, though. Look, people, I know it's just never going to be a winning battle for me. You can't speak negatively at all about anybody, or otherwise you just hate the player, right? So if I say Josh Young is having a terrible year out in the field, which he is, people automatically assume you must hate Josh Young, instead of, hey, there's actually some factual truth to that, and it's really just reality. Josh Young's not been good in the field. Josh Young not been good when it comes to the running game either. The slowest he's ever been in his career. Did conditioning play a role in the Josh Young injury? Maybe. I think there's an argument for that. Josh Young has gotten slower every single season he's been in the league. And this year, I think, looks particularly unathletic. The bat looks incredible. I think that is obviously the saving grace, and it's a big saving grace. But I don't think the Rangers need to get rid of Josh Young. I think they need to reposition him. I don't think you need to open up 2027 with Josh as your starting third baseman. Again, if the Rangers are this reliant on Josh Young's bat, no disrespect intended to anybody, but you've got to improve. You can't be this Josh Young reliant, especially if teams are going to stack lefties, take out Joc Pederson, take Evan Carter out of the mix, make Corey Seager hit lefties, which he has not been the best at doing this year either. It is going to be an interesting proposition. If we have to face the Rays, facing the Rays is a real matchup. We could face the Rays again in October, and they're probably going to load up. I don't know what McClanahan has going on with the injury. By the way, that's a whole nother component. You got a gift today with McClanahan going down, and you could not take advantage of the gift. Right. And that was such a promising inning too, wasn't it? You had first and second, nobody out. What could go wrong, right? First and second, nobody out, baby. What could go wrong? Rangers got one run out of that? That's kind of a bit of the story of the season, right? Some missed opportunities. You definitely should have taken full advantage of the fact that the Rays had to have a major bullpen game today. Now, McClanahan, not a guy that typically goes deep into games anyways, but nevertheless, really felt like you had a big opportunity today with him going down, and you didn't take advantage of it. Rangers definitely have to figure out the left-handed pitching thing. I know some people are going to rebuttal me with the team stats, the team splits. Right now, technically, the Rangers hit lefties better than they hit righties. The eye test does not feel that way at all for me, but technically right now you go to the team stats, the team splits, the Rangers are hitting lefties better than they're hitting righties. That being said, you look at their numbers against actual elite left-handed pitching, it's pretty bad, right? You think about games that the Rangers had against Chris Sale, an arm that's going to be in October. You think about Ranger Suarez, how the Rangers fared against him. Wasn't very good. You think about Christopher Sanchez, again, an NL guy, but again, the type of arm you're going to see in October. You think about others as well. Max Fried, a guy that you could get matched up with in October. Look, I think about even with the Yankees, Carlos Rodon, another lefty that the Rangers have struggled with. There's a number of really, really high-end left-handed starters in the AL. Tigers, it doesn't look certain that they're going to make the playoffs, but shoot, they've got a couple of lefties as well. Tarek Skubal. I know we've hit Fromber pretty well, so that might be a positive matchup, but I've got to see the Rangers improving the ceiling, improving the floor against left-handed pitching. It's one thing to dominate, God bless him. I'm a big fan, Pat Corbin. It's one thing to dominate Pat Corbin in Toronto, right? It's another thing to dominate Noah Schultz, White Sox lefty in Arlington. Yeah, those are separate things that I do think have inflated the Rangers' numbers a little bit against left-handed pitching. They have gone up against some bad left-handed pitching. Now, look, Parker Messick, they've had some good games against him. I think Parker is an above-average arm. I wouldn't necessarily say he's an elite arm. I do think the Rangers need to find a way at the trade deadline to improve the offense's ceiling and also to really just improve the baseline, right? The floor, what the Rangers are able to do at a bare minimum against left-handed pitching. Because what you saw today, it feels like what's exactly going to happen in October if you don't improve the lineup against left-handed starting pitching. It's just going to be elite, above average the rest of the month if you make it to October. I don't want the Rangers to get into a situation like that. Who do I think they should target and at what cost? I tweeted out earlier, Ethan, oh good, you're hanging out. I mean, look, Arise would definitely be a guy I would target. Arise is hitting 330 plus against left-handed pitching. It doesn't have to be a right-handed bat. It has to be a guy that can hit left-handed pitching. Arise can do that. I would have targeted Jo Adell. In fact, I'm surprised with such a low asking price for Silseth and Ohapi. I'm surprised CY didn't get a little greedy and say, hey, what do you need for Jo Adell to make the plane ride with the two of those guys? I'm really surprised. Maybe, Ethan, I know you were saying maybe that move is coming. Maybe they wanted to do something separately. I would have loved for CY to get a little greedy. Hey, what do you guys need us to throw in to get Jo Adell on the plane to Texas? That would have been phenomenal. I would love to get Jo Adell in this lineup. Jo Adell against lefties is incredible. Again, you don't need to go wild with the type of bat that you get. You just have to improve the floor, man, the bare minimum against lefties. Look, let's keep things rolling here with comments. Here's the bottom line for me. You're missing Young. That's obviously important. That's not a nothing burger. No pun intended there. Burger today did not have a great game, but that's a different story. Not a nothing burger. But if your offense is so bad that, there's no margin when a player like Young goes down, you might need to make an adjustment, right? The Rangers really lost the type of game that you would think they should probably win, right? A low-scoring affair. This is kind of how the Rangers are built to win games. Like, pitch really well, scrape across a few runs, and you got actually pretty good pitching over the last 2 days, and you blew it. Just doesn't have a great feeling going into this weekend. I think that's the other thing I don't like. And I know I said I'm going to get to comments. I promise I will. The other thing I don't like is you go into this series with the Astros in a bit of a negative. I get it. You're putting all your eggs into the Astros basket, so to speak, but I just don't love the vibes going into the Astros series. I love the pitching matchups. I love Evo. I love DeGrom. I mean, Kumar Rocker is going to be, I think, a bit of a question mark in a big series like this. He's coming off, I think, the best start of his life. I think last start, Mariners, big divisional series. I think that was probably his best game, not necessarily statistically speaking, but in terms of pitching really well when the lights were brightest. I don't know if there's a bigger game than what he just pitched. You hope he can follow that up. I feel pretty good about the pitching matchups, but man, you're putting a lot of eggs in this Astros basket, and you're coming into the series really not having played excellent baseball. You're pitching great, right? You had a great series pitching against Tampa, but the offense is coming in pretty flat. That does worry me a little bit going into the Houston series. All right, let's keep on going. Appreciate all you guys. We got to get Carter out. Be nice to get a shortstop and move Corey to first base. Evan Carter, I don't think is going to be moved at all. I really don't have any doubt that he's going to be on the team for at least a couple more years. I think they really like Evan Carter a lot, and he is rebounding, bouncing back. Didn't have a great game at the plate today. It was ugly at times today. He's been on a really good stretch, so I don't want to bring things down too much on Evan, but he absolutely is, I think, a part of the future in the front office's minds. I just don't think that really is going to be any kind of question mark. Could be totally wrong on that, but I really think this club is going to do all they can to try and make it work with Evan Carter. Now, moving Corey Seager to first base, that's an option. I'd like to see them just move Joc, either part ways at the end of this year, or, I mean, they might still trade Joc Pederson. I think that is still an option because I think you do need to open up the DH spot. You need to open it up a little bit. Evan Carter had a rough game today. He did have the double, but I would say other ABs. Didn't he have a 3-pitch strikeout, Lord Tubbington? Like, I get it. He gave that ball a ride. Felt like he had, I felt like he had more than one AB. Maybe I'm thinking back to yesterday's game or something like that. I'll have to go back and look. Felt like he had more than one. My bad on that one. Maybe I'm thinking about the other day. I'm not sure. Evan Carter today, he got the one pinch hit opportunity. That's right. The one pinch hit opportunity late. Evan, to me, is a guy that either way, just let's go with the bigger point, even if I got the details wrong on today. I think the Rangers are going to do all they can to make it work with Evan Carter. Let's just be clear on that. That was the main point more than anything else from what happened today. What would it take to get Joe Adell? I don't know what it would take per se. I've got to think a top 15 prospect. I mean, look, it's the Angels. I don't know how the Angels are wheeling and dealing, man. But like I said, I would have seen what would you need to get Joe Adell on the plane, man, along with Silseth and Ohapi. That would have been awesome. Let's keep going here. Yeah, Walcott is the future. I do agree with that. So I don't know how much longer Corey really has at shortstop. I think maybe a season or two more. I do feel like he will be moved off of that position eventually, but man, I'm just not sure it's going to be next year. Walcott, I think, is going to probably force his way onto the roster next year, especially if all continues to go well this year. He's having a really good start to his season at AA. We'll see if he gets the promotion, how he potentially does at AAA. Excuse me, don't mind my background. Like I told y'all yesterday, whenever my phone gets hot, it like automatically zooms out. We'll keep on rolling. Neto, yeah, I don't think we're getting Neto at all. I think he will be a guy that probably goes to one of the bigger teams, if I had to guess. I think the Angels will probably try and sell him to the highest bidder. I don't think the Rangers have any need for Neto. And look, it would be nice to have, sure, but the Rangers have multiple shortstop options already. We keep going. Let's see what I missed. See if I missed anything else. Who are we talking about with accountability here, Lord Tubbington? Who are we talking about? We're talking about Skip. Yeah, I mean, in the media, Skip is always going to be a guy that backs the players. And I mean, that does make sense. Now, personally, I do think that Skip could be a little bit more just down to earth and straightforward. I don't think you always have to sugarcoat everything. I feel like Skip does sugarcoat it a little too much. Look, you don't have to publicly disrespect or blast players, but you know, it's okay to say somebody had a bad game. I mean, if that hurts a player's feelings that much, yeah, look, do you really want that kind of player on your roster? Your manager says you had a rough game after going 0 for 4. with 4 strikeouts. I mean, it's pretty obvious anyways, but I do think there could be a little bit more public not okay with what happened or not okay with the loss today. It does feel like you always get some kind of sugar-coated version, but I do think that's just Skip trying to protect his guys, trying to respect them as best he can. But yeah, it's obviously a little bit of a different time, but I don't know if they're worried about the fragile mindset of some of these guys or what, but you do typically see Skip always err on the side of positivity. That's for sure. Absolutely. Uh, any chance we try to get Andujar from San Diego? I don't know how he's playing right now. Last I looked, it wasn't, it wasn't crazy good from Andujar, but maybe the numbers have improved. It's been a while since I looked up his stats. He's hitting 260 on the year with a 726 OPS. Against lefties, he is at a 682 OPS. Isn't that crazy? He's actually got reverse splits this year. He's better against righties than he is against lefties. Yeah, last year, by the way, Andujar was like lefty crusher, right? This year, Andujar is actually worse against lefties than righties. So I don't know if Andujar is going to be the guy that you want to go and get. Why did Carter not pinch hit for Cawley? That's a good Skip question. So we're talking about earlier in the game, right? When it was Pederson got subbed in, right? Is that the one you're talking about, G-Man? Pederson got pinch hit for, and then right after that, it was Cawley. That was a pretty big moment in the game. That was the inning I was talking about where you had multiple guys on, nobody out. And let me just look back at the sequence here. So it was Duran hit by pitch, Nimmo walked, and then you had the race opener from yesterday come in. He got Berger to fly out. Then they had Pederson come up. He got the fielder's choice. Cam Cawley struck out swinging. And then after that, they had Cam Boozer come in. Yeah, look, I think there's an argument for getting Cam Cawley out of the game there for sure. I wish they would have asked Skip that question. I don't know if they probably didn't, but I wish they would have asked him that question. I did have a similar thought. In fact, G-Man, I was about to tweet this out, and then I think Joc scored, and I just got a little sidetracked. But I did have it in my mind, and Skip did it with Joc. But when McClanahan went down and they were bringing in the right-hander, I thought to myself, this is the time to load up. Throw Pederson at him, throw Carter at him, let's go. And they did it with Pederson. They didn't do it with Carter. I do agree. It was a little bit of a questionable call. You would have thought, hey, let's load up here in this inning. We know runs have been hard to come by in this series. I think that is another moment you look at and you kind of say, maybe Skip's not wanting to empty the bench that early. And, of course, Joc wasn't going to stay in the game. They weren't going to take Berger out and, have Joc play somewhere in the outfield or something weird. It's just kind of an unfortunate circumstance there. But I think the only rebuttal, G-Man, for having Cawley hit there is you had already burned a couple of bench bats. You had burned Joc. You burned Smitty coming in and running for Joc. You burned Carter, man. You burned 3 bench guys in, 2 ABs? It's just tough. It was probably a little early to go 2 all in. Again, my initial reaction was, man, go all in, right? That was like the emotional reaction in the moment. Hey, let's just gang up on this guy and let's take advantage right now. But I understand the wisdom in, hey, let's not empty the bench and have nobody for the rest of the game. It's a tough call. It really is. And I think a little bit is you're trying to give Cawley an opportunity. It's not like Cawley's been terrible with the bat, but obviously righty, probably not as advantageous as when Cawley's hitting against lefties. It's just, man, it's just not my favorite lineup when the Rangers have to face a left-handed starter. I mean, Joc is clearly one of your best hitters. And I know some people are like, why isn't Joc playing every day? I don't think it's going to go well with Joc playing against lefties. I really don't think it's going to go great. I hope that most people see that perspective, but there's a number of people that have really been saying Joc should play every day. He hasn't hit lefties well over the past several years. And so I would kind of worry if you start playing Joc against lefties, is he going to start maybe getting frustrated and play poorly against righties? I don't want to mess with a whole lot that's going on with Joc Pederson right now. Dude's in a groove. The last thing I want to do is start throwing Joc against lefties and then it screws him up against righties. It's the last thing I want to do. So I don't think that playing Joc every day is the answer. I don't think that playing Carter every day is the answer. Both these guys are kind of finally finding a groove in these defined roles. Joc is a guy that's going to start against the lefties. Carter's a guy that's going to start against lefties. That to me is not necessarily the way to go. I think you keep them in the lineup against righties and you continue to let them do what they're doing, which over the last month has been hitting the ball well. So I think you've got to find a way outside of the organization to improve the ceiling. Also, I think maybe more importantly, improve the floor. You can't get, shut out and 2 hit, right? 2 hits today. And again, McClanahan doesn't stay in the game forever. But the Rays, man, they managed the bullpen today, didn't they? They brought it. I mean, I really think that you had a really good game plan. Even after McClanahan went out, they threw Boozer, they threw Matz. They definitely made it a point to keep lefties in the ball game and to make us really have to beat them with not our best lineup. I mean, they threw Clevenger, they threw Matz, they threw Boozer, of course, they threw McClanahan. They were throwing lefties at us all day long. There's not a lot, to me, of great outside help available outside of the guys that I've already talked about. Like, I think Joe Adell is probably your best option to go get. Like, Wilson Contreras would have been interesting, but Boston's not in sell mode. So that's out. You just don't have a ton. Casey Schmidt would have been another one. He's got the knee issue. We talked about that. It's really Luis Arraez and Joe Adell. Those are the 2 guys I think that you really point to. One thing I did want to talk about, you guys were kind of going the people's direction, right? The bullpen direction. I do think it's fair to say, I mean, that home run felt a little cheap today that Peoples gave up. I do think you go back and look at the sequence, he misses location. Austin Wynns wanted the ball up in the zone. Peoples missed low. Mullins just happens to be a really good low ball hitter. I do think that was going for extra bases regardless. I don't think Wyatt was going to track that one down. And so, look, it would have been probably in another ballpark, runner on second, 2 out. Maybe Peoples gets out of that. Maybe he doesn't. Peoples, I think, has been pretty good since he's come up. I do think he very well might be the one who gets the boot when Monty and when Bradford are back. I think, obviously, Marco Gonzales is a pretty prime candidate to get DFA'd. I do think it's probably going to be either Peoples or Ahlstrom when Bradford comes back, unless they've got another 60-day IL or something like that. I don't know. I definitely feel like with Peoples, you have really, really thin margin for error if he wants to stay up with the big league club. Guy you can clearly option without a whole lot of issues. Peoples an apology. I'm not getting that, buddy. Not getting that at all. By the way, I haven't really hated on Peoples at all. In fact, I think I've actually pumped him up. But honestly, he just has a really thin margin for error with different pitchers coming back. The Junis injury maybe changes things a little bit for Peoples. But let's be clear. Peoples against Mullins, he missed location. And you're probably giving up an extra base hit anyways. So, I mean, the people that are just totally excusing Peoples, it's a Mickey Mouse home run. That ball was still hit pretty hard. He didn't hit his spot, and that's probably going for extra bases anyways. Like, to just totally let him off the hook, like that's an easy can of corn out. I don't think Wyatt is getting to that ball in another stadium. Pitch was right at the knees, but it was right over the plate, Lord Tubbington. It's right. I mean, go back and look at it. I wonder if I could actually pull it up. It's literally right over the plate. And again, you look at the scouting report from Mullins. I don't know if you have looked at the hot zones. That's where he hits the ball the hardest. Mullins is a low ball hitter. And the pitch was right over the heart of the plate. It wasn't like painted on the black. It's right there. So not only did he miss location, but he threw it over the heart of the plate. It doesn't matter if it's at the knees. Mike Trout loves pitches at the knees. You got to know the hitter. So anyone that's just kind of mindlessly passing it off, oh, it's a strike right at the knees. Well, yeah, there are such things as low ball hitters. Mullins is a low ball hitter. That's why if you go back and look, Lord Tubbington, I challenge you, man, go back and look. Austin Wins is holding the glove up at the top of the zone. They're doing that for a reason, and they're doing that because Mullins squares up baseballs low and slightly away. It wasn't a good pitch. It's not a, apologize to people situation. People should be apologizing to Austin Wins and to the team. He missed a spot, and the guy hit a home run. I mean, look, just go back and look. You clearly see Austin Wins hold the glove up at the top of the zone on that home run. So I just feel like let's meet somewhere in the middle on this. The people that are completely excusing Peoples, like, what are we doing? He missed his spot and the ball got crushed. It would have been extra bases if it wasn't a home run. And so where we meet in the middle is he might have still gotten out of the inning because there were 2 outs. Let's not pretend like, oh my gosh, he made a perfect pitch and he just got unlucky. No, he missed his location to a low ball hitter and the ball got squared up. I don't know how else I can say it. Peoples has been good overall, but his margin for error is so thin because he's a rookie. He's got plenty of options. He's not like a Cole Winn, no options remaining. And, you've got other guys that are coming off the injured list here. Are we excusing Gray? No, not excusing Gray, but I'll say this. I was a little bit curious to see what Skip was going to do with Gray after that great first inning that he threw. I definitely was curious. What are they going to do here to finish this out? Are they going to go Peoples multiple innings? Are they going to go Robby Ahlstrom multiple innings? They decided to go Peyton Gray multiple innings. I don't think anybody's excusing Peyton Gray. What a great first inning, by the way, he pitched. I'm going to have to go back and look at that specific home run, see if I can pull it up and look at the whole situation. But again, when you don't have where the catcher wanted the ball, it's kind of tough. I was definitely locked in on the location for that Peoples home run. I'm forgetting where the setup was on the Gray home run. But no, if he missed location, absolutely. Absolutely. So no Peyton Gray off the hook. I think if you wanted to throw Peyton Gray a bone, which we like to do here on the show, if you wanted to throw a bone, just like we throw a bone to Peoples, right? The bone that you throw to Peoples that's probably not a home run in a lot of ballparks, right? It's bouncing off the wall. Why it's not going to get to it, but it's going to bounce on the track or bounce off the wall, and you've got a runner on second with 2 outs and a chance to still get out of the inning. That's the bone you throw to Peoples, right? The bone you throw to Gray is, man, could have been cool if he only pitched 1 inning and you didn't have a multi-inning affair where, who knows, maybe he's feeling a little gassed in that second inning. Not really sure. Obviously hard to know without asking him, but I think that is the bone you throw. It's kind of like when we talked about Cole Winn a couple of weeks ago, maybe even a week and a half ago. Cole Winn went through a spell where he was really good in that first inning, but Skip would have him go multiple innings and it would totally go awry in that second frame, right? In that second frame, it would start getting dicey. And so I do think there is a thing where certain guys just aren't multiple inning dudes. And I'm not saying Peyton Gray falls in that category, but I think that's the bone you throw to Gray is, man, it was a very, very solid first frame. He mowed through the heart of the Rays order. That's emotional, right? And then you got to sit. And I do think if you talk to guys around the game, they can confirm this, man. It's a very real thing. A lot of relief pitchers very used to going in for one frame. You get super amped up, super hyped up. Then you got to go and sit for an inning. And then or a half inning, excuse me. And then you come back in and it just has a little bit of a different feel. Just has a little bit of a different feel to it. Junis definitely plays in here. Not having Junis was huge. You do wonder how the game plays out differently with Junis. You have to imagine if Junis is healthy, Peyton Gray probably doesn't throw a second inning, right? So I do think this is a good point here. Greg, appreciate seeing you, man. Thank you for the comment. Lord Tubbington, appreciate all the comments. No. The biggest culprit, though, today, and we've already talked about it, the biggest culprit today is the offense. The offense is the main issue today. We can nitpick the pitching, man. We can nitpick Peoples and the mislocation. And I commented this on a couple of different people's replies to some of my posts today, because there are fans that get really pissed off when you're posting a negative from the game and they don't feel like it's the biggest reason. Like I posted about the Lats decision, right? Not using Lats in the 8th inning. And citing how Skip had done it in the past in tie games, right? And, you got people commenting back like, bro, why are you commenting this? The offense had 2 hits. Baseball is an amazing game. It's a beautiful game. I love this sport. And one of the biggest reasons I love it is because over the course of 9 innings, you don't realize it if, just casually watching, but over the course of 9 innings, there are hundreds of decisions, right? The game within the game. That's why I love this sport. And so I don't want to ever just be full big picture guy 24/7. And I'd only be able to post one thing a game if that was the case. Like you got some people that they just want you to never post anything little. Just give me the big picture. Yeah, I think it's safe to say the big picture here is the offense got 2 hits. Like, that's probably the main reason they lost the game today, right? That doesn't mean that other decisions that were made over the course of 9 innings didn't impact the game. Rangers should win a game where you only give up 3 runs, no doubt. I think I said that at the beginning, right? This is a game that the Rangers are built to win. Low scoring. You only have to score 4 runs to win the game. These are the games the Rangers are built to win. Rays just so happen to be built similarly. And I talked about this at the beginning of the show. I think I told you guys, I had people giving me crap for my Rays series preview that I put out where I was like, this is a good baseball team. The Rangers are going to have their hands full. I said that, and they lost the series, sure enough. I had a lot of people trying to dunk on me after the Rangers won. I never proclaimed that the Rangers were going to lose this series. And I think you guys know that. But I posted basically a reel saying, hey, a lot of people don't really know about the Rays. They don't know a lot of the players on the Rays. Probably haven't paid a lot of attention to the Rays. They're a good team. And some Rangers fans got really offended by that. And were giving me, like I said, giving me some crap after Tuesday night. Well, I'm definitely not going to take my victory lap. That just doesn't have a good look, right? I didn't want to be correct that the Rays are a really good team and the Rangers need to be careful. But here we are, having lost a series. This is a 64-44 team for a reason. Tampa has a good squad. They have a good squad. Game within the game, though. Like, I hope you guys know that when I'm posting on X, when I'm posting on Facebook, when I'm posting on Threads, wherever you follow me. Like, of course, I always have a big picture idea. What's the biggest reason why this team lost? But, man, I love this game because there's so many decisions that impact a baseball game across 9 innings. And I feel like it's a shame to just talk about, the biggest one or the one that that really was the reason. Nah, baseball is a beautiful game because it's a thinking man's game. It's the game within the game. It's a game of inches. It's a game of little minute decisions that have big consequences at times. I mean, I could go on and on about this. This is why I love this game, baby. So, I mean, look, you see me popping off on X or on social media, critiquing a play here, critiquing a play there. You know, I've always got the big picture in my mind. We had 2 freaking hits today. Clearly, that's the biggest reason that the Rangers lost. That doesn't mean that other decisions in the game didn't matter. They absolutely mattered today. We keep rolling. Look, Skubal, I don't know how we got on the Skubal topic. I just hope he stays out of the AL. I hope wherever Skubal goes is NL related, if the Tigers are actually selling him. Does it feel like Nicky is starting to slip? I think that he absolutely is punching above his weight class right now, and I do think we're probably going to see Nicky go back a little bit to his norm. That doesn't mean he hasn't had a really good season, but yeah, I do think we're going to see Nicky revert back to the norm a little bit. I don't think Nicky is going to be hitting over 300 the entire season. I mean, look, it's possible he's going to go full, Danny Santana in 2018, whatever year that was. Wasn't it 2018? That Danny Santana one-off year where he hit like 28 bombs. And look, Nicky Lopez isn't hitting bombs like Danny Santana was that year. But I do think it's always possible that you could have kind of an anomaly season, but Nicky Lopez's norm is not, hitting above 300. I've always said, Nicky Lopez, I think, is a valuable commodity, but he's depth. He's definitely had his moments where he's giving you starter type output, but at the same time, I think it's important to note here, he definitely over the course of his career has not been some everyday star in terms of his ability up at the plate. I think the Rangers 100% would do well to try and upgrade there, and I think Seager coming back is going to be a big part of that, right? 2019, I had 2019. All right. That's right, the year before the COVID year. Now, some people have said that it was roids with Danny Santana. The thing is, though, like, he didn't get popped until, 2022 or 2023? I don't know if it was roids. I choose to think it wasn't, but maybe it was, and he just didn't get caught for a couple of years. But Danny Santana did serve a suspension for PEDs. That being said, it was a special year. It was a fun year. Rangers would not be in a good place without Nicky Lopez and Elias Diaz. You definitely have a few more losses. Nothing crazy, but I don't know if you'd have a winning record right now without some of their play. That's for sure. How do I feel about the series tomorrow? Tomorrow, we're going to preview this series here in about 2 minutes, but I feel like there's a lot of pressure because of how you've set it up. Like, I remember a couple of Mariners fans that will hang out with us. I always say everybody's welcome. We'll probably get some Astros fans hanging out. Maybe even today. We're a little bit harder on them, but look, I always say everybody's welcome. I actually like hearing the other perspective sometimes from the teams that we're playing. It's always just interesting to see how fans of the teams that we play view their teams. But some Mariners fans were telling me, like, the Mariners lined up their pitching for this Rangers series, right? Those were some of the things that were being said around Seattle and the media, and I do think it adds an added layer of pressure. And so for the Rangers, clearly you designed this rotation to set up for Houston. And so you just hope putting all your eggs into this Houston series doesn't backfire. I think that the Rangers are definitely going to have a very good shot at winning the series with Eovaldi and DeGrom. Now, look, Hunter Brown pitching tomorrow. He's been good. The Rangers have been able to have opportunities against him here and there, but Hunter Brown's a really good pitcher. The bullpen, I think, is going to be a big variable, especially without Junis. You are going to see Silseth activated for tomorrow's game, so having Silseth will be nice. He's going to be, probably your 8th inning guy. I think they'll plug him right into that 8th inning role in front of Latzy. If they don't hit, that is going to be the issue, though. I think even more than the bullpen, the bats have to figure out a way. And I'm glad that tomorrow Joc Pederson's back in the lineup. I know Evan Carter's been a little off and on this season, but of late, he looks a lot better. I think Evan Carter back in the lineup is going to be nice. I really am starting to get down on this left-handed starter lineup. I think there are times this season where we've been really pumped at what we've gotten out of the left-handed starter lineup. I do think there's a little bit of taking advantage of bad lefties like Noah Schultz, Pat Corbin, not the most robust left-handed pitcher, although we love Corbs. We love Corby, but the Rangers have beat up on some mediocre to below average left-handed pitching this year. When they've gone up against studs, it hasn't necessarily gone the greatest. That is who you're going to have to beat down the stretch, especially in October. I would like to see the Rangers get better against lefties. But tomorrow, obviously, you're facing a righty, and you get to have all of your weapons at your disposal. The Rangers, I think, are the best version of themselves when Joc Pederson and Evan Carter are in the lineup at this point in the season. I wouldn't have maybe said that in April, but right now with the way those two are playing, I think there's nothing else to be said there. Those guys against right-handed starters having their bat in the lineup is huge. I love Osuna. He's still my boy. You saw Osuna part of the scoring today. You wish that Osuna could have a little bit more of an opportunity. I do think he just finds a way to get on base, man. He was on base twice today. So I don't think I'm throwing Osuna to the wayside. Unfortunately, you can only have 3 outfielders in a game, and you're not going to bench Brandon Nimmo or Wyatt Langford. You're definitely not going to be sitting either one of those guys down. And so it's tough, but so is seeing Osuna be really the only one today beyond Wyatt Langford looking competent on offense. And he's going back to the bench tomorrow. Joc did not get a single. I think it was a fielder's choice for being super technical Colts fan, but Smitty did replace him. Yes. Smitty ran for him. They didn't want to have Joc run or play the field there, but tomato. I know. I get on people for being too technical sometimes too, so maybe I should have let that one go. Really would like to trade Joc and get another player somehow, some way. Would love to move the DH around. Look, I've said to you guys, Joc in the lineup against righties, it's definitely a plus right now. I do think overall you've got a really, really nice opportunity to get other guys in the mix. If you were to trade Joc, you got Corey Seager that could DH, Brandon Nimmo. I think he was the DH today, right? You could do a lot more of that. Brandon Nimmo's obviously not a bad right fielder, but he's not the best. The Rangers do a lot of things well in the outfield. Throwing is definitely the one that I would say they probably don't do very well. In fact, I know they don't do very well. Wyatt Langford had an opportunity to throw somebody out today. Doesn't it just look like, I don't know, I'm not trying to dog him because Wyatt's a great player and he does a lot of good things out in the outfield. He has one of the best reaction times, gets the best jumps, second in the league to PCA. Not throwing that one out there. That's a real deal stat. Man, Wyatt throwing that ball today was just awkward, wasn't it? Just doesn't look very smooth. And there are guys that look really, really smooth playing this game, and they're not necessarily the best players, but it looks good. And then there are guys that don't look good, but they get the job done. It doesn't always have to look pretty, but the throw today, Wyatt with the opportunity to gun down, I forget who was running at the plate. That was a little bit of a tough watch today. It's a little bit of a tough watch today. Evan Carter doesn't look super great throwing the ball either. Brandon Nimmo doesn't look super great throwing the ball. They just do not have very good arms out in the outfield. Does make you miss Adolis. I know Adolis isn't a left fielder. I know he plays right field, but man, I miss having a cannon out there in the outfield. Really do. It's the one thing I think I would definitely complain about in terms of outfield play. I think you could have easily thrown out that Tampa Bay runner on that play. 2 outs, right? Wyatt Langford gets it. He got it right as the guy was touching third base. So, you glove the ball right when that runner touches third. You're a major league outfielder. You should have a shot there. And it wasn't like Wyatt was that deep, and I think it was a 2 or 3 bouncer. I know that left fielders aren't necessarily the guys with the best arms, but man, feels like you should be able to get that ball on a one hop if you're a major league player. And Wyatt, just not the strong suit, but he does so many other things well. You're not going to complain about it too much, but the arms leave something to be desired. Byron says, we'll rise or fall with Seager. Yeah, I think Corey coming back is definitely going to be a big thing to watch. That's not rocket science. If Corey can come back and really play like what he did last year when he was healthy, the year before when he was healthy, that is a big lift to this offense. I mean, is it just as good as a trade deadline acquisition? I don't know. I kind of hate that. I low-key hate that. No. Go get the bat anyways. Don't try and sell me that Corey Seager is the trade deadline acquisition. Come on now. But I do agree with what Sugi says. If Corey is good and the glove is good, yeah, you're cooking with something. That is for sure. That's no doubt. But I don't love getting spoon-fed Corey, he's the deadline acquisition. Come on now. I think it's okay to still go get another bat to make the offense even better. We don't need to try and politic and, convince people, hey, this is just as good as going to get Luis Ariz. I don't know about all that. Don't know about all that. Let me keep rolling. Sorry about the connection today. I think the computer's getting a little hot. It is getting a little hot. I'm feeling it right now. It is a warm one today in Las Vegas, y'all. It is a hot one today. So if the connection is getting a little fuzzy, you know why. The computer is probably warming up. I saw a post saying that the Rangers are 47-1 when leading after 6 innings. That's shocking. Yeah. And they're really good in one-run games. Although somebody was saying to me, the reason why they're so good in one-run games is because the bullpen gives up the lead, at least a bigger lead, right? The Rangers are up 5-1, and then the bullpen gives up 2 or 3 runs, and then Latz comes in and slams the door. I can't say I disagree. It does, as you think about it, that does kind of make sense. There's been a lot of games this year where it's 5-1, Rangers are leading, and then it shrinks down to 5-2, then 5-4, then Latz comes in and slams the door, and that is, I think, definitely one reason why the one-run wins have been so prevalent this year. You feel like Texas does sometimes let teams back into games, but fortunately, you got a really good closer, an all-star closer in Jacob Latz that is able to calm the storm even when teams come roaring back a little bit against Texas. Nate, what's good, my guy? Yeah, it's a cop-out, right? The trade deadline acquisition, Corey Seager line, it's just a cop-out. You can have Corey Seager come back and still go out and get a bat. You don't have to try and sell us on Seager being just as good as a trade deadline acquisition. Come on now. Come on now, baby. Multiple predictions of Brooks Raley to the Rangers. Interesting. I've definitely seen Adley Rutschman talks heating up a little bit. I thought I saw the Rangers connected to Rutschman like they had checked in on him. So we'll see. That could be really, really interesting. I don't know if the Rangers are going to make a Rutschman deal. Brooks Raley would definitely be a dude that you'd be interested in. He is a lefty. relief pitcher for the New York Mets, if you don't know who Brooks Raley is. He's got a 2.10 ERA, 1.14 whip. This would be a nice piece to add. No doubt, this would be a great piece to add. Apparently, we are looking for a right-handed batter for the outfield. Joe Adell. Holly, good to see you. Thanks for all the comments today. Joe Adell, anybody? Joe Adell? I'd like to see that kind of bat. One that can really sub in against left-handed pitching, can hit good left-handed pitching, and just provide the Rangers with a little bit more depth. That'd be great. Johnny, what's good, man? Thanks for hanging out. We're talking about a little bit of everything. Who could we trade for Rutschman? You know, you could probably trade some pitchers. I think you could definitely trade some major league depth. I think there's a number of different options. Think about guys that aren't full-time starters on the team right now, but are on the major league team. That's who I'm talking about. I mean, think like Cam Cauley. I don't want to trade Cam Cauley. I love that guy. Osuna, I definitely don't want to talk about trading him, but I think somebody like Osuna is, definitely a trade piece, right? I mean, he could be a trade piece for sure. He's not really getting consistent playing time. I think there are teams that probably like the profile, like the player, like some of the intangibles. So I do think that for Rutschman, you could maybe wave some of your major league depth around and see if anybody's interested. Tomorrow, by the way, let's kind of get into the Astros series a little bit here. And I'll try my best to preview it for you guys and give you the full rundown. But tomorrow is Eovaldi versus Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown, definitely not the same guy that he was last year, but still a very good pitcher. No doubt about that. But yeah, Hunter Brown is not doing what he was doing in 2025. Brown, 3.45 ERA, has had some injuries this year. Not a shabby pitcher by any means, but not quite as dominant as last year. Saturday is DeGrom versus Blanco. Sunday is Rocker, and Houston has not announced a starter yet. So if we look at tomorrow's game, Eovaldi coming in with a 4.05 ERA, pitched a beautiful ball game against the Mariners last time out. You've got Evo versus Houston. Allen 1 for 9. Altuve is a really good hitter off Eovaldi. 7 homers in his career off Eovaldi does Jose Altuve have with a 381 batting average, 42 ABs. Yordan, 353 average. I mean, we already know you got to watch out for Yordan Alvarez for sure. Yordan does have a home run off Evo as well. DeZenzo, 2 for 8. Yainer Diaz looks like 4 for 11. Paredes does have a home run off of Eovaldi, but only a 150 batting average and 20 ABs. Jeremy Pena, 313 batting average with 2 home runs and 16 ABs. Cam Smith, 1 for 9. Trammell, 2 for 9. Vasquez, 1 for 12. Wade Jr., 1 for 4. Seawalk, 417 average with 2 homers. There's a lot of guys that have hit Evo pretty well. This is going to be an interesting start, that's for sure. There's a number of guys that have hit Evo pretty well on this roster, man. So I'm not saying that because I don't think it's going to go well. It's very possible Evo figures out a way, but there are some guys with some good pass numbers against Nathan Eovaldi on the Astros, guys that he's going to have to look out for. And then you've got on the other side, Jake Berger against Hunter Brown, 385 career batting average, 2 home runs. Berger had a big home run last year off Hunter Brown in a pitcher's duel. I think it was against DeGrom. I think it was DeGrom Brown in Arlington, and that home run made like all the difference. Evan Carter, 3 for 8 against Hunter Brown in his career. Ezequiel Duran, 2 for 10. Elias Diaz, 0 for 3. Wyatt Langford, 1 for 15 against Hunter Brown. Whew. Lopez, 1 for 6. Brandon Nimmo, 2 for 9. Alejandro Osuna, 1 for 4. Joc Pederson, 3 for 9 with a home run against Hunter Brown. Josh Smith, 2 for 18 against Hunter Brown in his career. Austin Wins, Cam Cauley, and Justin Foscue have no career ABs. Scarborough would start that Adley conversation. Yeah, I do think you could trade Scarborough and some major league depth, and that could definitely be what does it. Josh Smith could definitely be a trade deadline guy. I don't know how many teams really love what they're getting from Smitty, but I do think that could be a possibility as well, no doubt. So tomorrow's game, by the way, is a 7:15 start time. 7:15 start time. So we'll be live 8th, 9th inning, something like that, 8th or 9th inning. So come hang out. Hope you will. Hopefully we'll be talking about a Rangers win. Wish we could have been talking about a dub and a series victory today. Wasn't meant to be. Rangers, a little bit of punting today. Thinking about that Astros series. It is a big series. Rangers hold a very slim half-game lead over Houston. You could really create some separation with a sweep, even winning 2 out of 3, making it back to a game and a half is big too. Sweep would be huge. Tomorrow, the game is on Apple TV. So definitely maybe going to be a little bit interesting for some people to get coverage. I'm going to have to figure it out. I have Apple TV. I'm pretty sure I bought it, but it works out well for me. I just write this stuff off for Right on Rangers for the business, but I know it's annoying. I hate the streaming, all the different things that they make you buy. It does get old, man. It really does. But it is going to be on Apple TV tomorrow. No local broadcast. Rangers obviously will be on the radio locally on 105.3, but Apple TV broadcast tomorrow, just so you guys are in the know. Might need to make a little adjustment. I think the rest of the games are going to be on RSN or Buzzer, whatever you got. That will definitely, though, be a big game for Texas. Game 1. We'll see if they can get started off on the right foot. Doesn't mean everything. Look at the Rays. They lost game 1 of this series and won the next 2. Doesn't mean everything, but winning game 1 always feels better than dropping it, digging yourself an instant hole, and having to win 2 or 3 in a row in order to win the series. All right, y'all. Look, if any trades happen, we'll try our best to get on promptly, do a little emergency pod. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If it's a very small, meaningless trade, I might skip. But if we're getting major league talent added, that'll definitely be emergency pod worthy. We'll probably do a show next week, trade deadline show. That's the plan. So it's going to be a fun, busy, upcoming next 4 or 5 days. I'm excited about it. I'll have a video out to you guys later tonight, maybe in about an hour and a half. I got to actually shoot it, edit it, do all that stuff. So I'll have a video out on today's game. Some things obviously will sound pretty familiar to what I've already said, but appreciate you liking that and sharing that with as many people as you can. You guys are a big reason that this channel continues to do well, continues to grow. And so I just want to say thank you. We don't take any support of the show for granted. So we will 100% have some different things out to you over the next 24 hours. But look, maybe next time we'll be talking. It'll be after a Houston win for us, a Houston victory for the Rangers at Daikin. That would be ideal. 8th or 9th inning. Hope you can join us. And if not, maybe sometime this weekend. All right. All right, then. Hope you guys have a good rest of your Thursday night. And as I always say to end every show, God bless and go Rangers.